Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a bunch of dev server leaks once again, and guess what? They concern a lot of infantry stuff, which has been kind of the talk of the last year when it comes to War Thunder. We had obviously the April Fool's video talking about infantry being added, and pretty much since then, every dev server leak has been around infantry itself. This time, it's talking about a new game mode with it, and then also some new types of weapons and scopes, and also a few extras concerning the Hangar and many other things. So in this video, we're going to go over it all. We're going to chat about it and discuss it, and also maybe just have a look at some other Gaijin products which are also doing similar things. As always, if you've enjoyed the dev server content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video. Let's get started. So the first piece of the news is it seems that they're going to be doing a testing event for the infantry stuff. Now this is going to be coming soon supposedly, so maybe we'll get some announcements pretty quick, and the event lineups are basically Russia versus America. What is interesting is they also seem to be adding some vehicles in these, so we will see the whole vehicle versus infantry matchups and how they're going to work. One of the event lineups is looking like the AK-12, AK-74M, the RPK-74M, the Bison, the ASM Val, the SVDM, the PKP Pecheneg, and the T90M, and then also the Mi-24V. So you can see those are the two vehicles which will just absolutely batter infantry. And then versus the M4A1, M16A4, the M249 Para, the MAC-11, the SIG XM5, the M110A1 SDMR, the Reaper, or the REAPR, and then the M1A2 SEP V2 Abrams, and the AH-64A. So it looks like they're doing a full America versus Russia test, which isn't too surprising. And also, a lot of this stuff is actually available in active matter. And so they obviously have all the models, they have everything ready to go. And in active matter, you have more of a realistic kind of infantry movement system. So since that's in the Daegor engine, and since, as we know, when it comes to Gaijin products, they all kind of develop alongside each other, it isn't surprising at all to me that they would be using assets across the board or working together as teams to develop the different products. I remember when Enlisted was in full flow, they would add stuff to Enlisted and then maybe a month or two later add it to War Thunder or the other way around. When it came to the terrain deformation, this is something that actually happened pretty, consistently, where one game would add it in, then the other game would also add it in. Even though there are different systems and different games and need stuff implemented differently, it was very obvious there was a lot of cooperation going along with the games themselves. And that, I'm guessing, is going to continue with active matter and also many other pieces of I suppose, Gaijin's products across the board, which they are rapidly expanding over the last little bit. There's also a bunch of attachments, basically a bunch of scopes, a bunch of grips, and a bunch of suppressors, and guess what? Pretty much all of them are in active matter once again. So Gaijin has the assets, they have the models, and they also have a great testing bed for War Thunder to kind of show that you can actually model this stuff pretty properly. And then when it comes to maps, there seems to be an Almasa map, an Amadou map, an East Valley map, and also a Granitograd map. So it looks like you're going to be able to go to many different places in order to play these infantry and tank combos. I'm still not really sold on the whole idea of having infantry and vehicles alongside each other. Obviously, this has been an issue in the past in many games, and I feel like with War Thunder's respawn system and also the general mechanics, I'm a bit worried that it's all going to go pear-shaped. When it comes to other equipment as well, there's a bunch of different stuff. So first of all, you have some bulletproof vests. You have a heavy and a light one, so I'm guessing there's going to be a weight kind of category to the infantry, so you'll either be faster or slower. There's also a tactical phone, which is probably for drones, and once again, there are also drones. Probably some recon ones, probably some strike ones, probably some assault ones, who knows, but we will be able to join the drone trench. There's also the M136 AT4, the FIM 92E Stinger, and also the 9M39 Igla. So there will be equipment for soldiers to be able to destroy vehicles, which is quite nice, since obviously this would be kind of a problem. There's also a few other things that are being worked on outside of this event for infantry that is being set up. And basically what you have is you have a new hangar map, which is called Hangar Field Premium. Now this might be really interesting because, as I've talked about before, one of the things that War Thunder is missing is a lot of customization in the hangar. They've added a ton of UI elements, they've updated the profile, they have really worked hard at additional customization options in many different areas. But one of the areas that they haven't really touched is the hangar module of the game. They updated it a few years ago, but they didn't give people a lot of customization. Basically, customization for the hangar comes down to one or two things. You either mod it yourself, which is fair, but only PC players can do it, or what you do is you change it by putting different vehicles in your lineups, which puts them in different places around the place. That's it. That's all you can really do. So if they're working on a new hangar, which even you have to pay for, if you're able to update certain areas of it, or if you're able to, you know, add in certain things to it, I think that would generally be pretty awesome. You could maybe have some kind of homage to old events that you've done, like maybe a poster room, or maybe like a medal room. Maybe you could have a squadron hut where you go in and you see all of the accolades of your squadron, which obviously Gaijin have kind of recorded. Maybe you could have an area which actually shows your profile and you could kind of walk around it. Maybe they could add VR elements to it, so you could do that. Another thing that I found really interesting was when they added in those little soldiers or little tech crew or engineers where you could go up to vehicles and you could actually see them firsthand very close. And in Aces of Thunder, the VR game that Gaijin are bringing out at some point for aircraft, you can do that too. You can walk around the aircraft, you can have a look at them, you can go through them, and it would be really cool if they did that for the hangar too. Now, they have talked about the idea of adding in more stuff to the test drive as well and continuing to improve that, and I just hope they do, because, you know, as we go along in War Thunder, you want more modernizations, more updates, more everything. And I think one of the areas that is just ripe for it is the hangar and also the avatar ideas that we've talked about previously. Especially now with all of these anime things going on, anything's possible and can definitely happen. There's also a few other things outside of the event. You have the RPG-2, the AR-10 Hollywood Humpback, the RPG-7, the FGM-148E, and also the TKB-415. So you can see more infantry stuff that is being worked on. And it honestly seems like this is kind of the natural conclusion of what's going to come for War Thunder. At the end of the day, Gaijin need to find new ways of revolutionizing the gameplay. That's why what they're doing is testing out these new modes. You have the Seed mode, you have the Deep Strike mode, and also it looks like they're working on the infantry modes, which obviously would be very, very different to what we have right now when it comes to the general vehicle modes. So there's just a bunch of stuff in the background that's happening and is, to be honest, looking really, really cool. So hopefully we get some more news about it. Let me know what your opinions are of it. How do you think the vehicle and also the infantry are going to work together? And for me, I'm a bit worried, especially after playing a bunch of other games, but who knows? Maybe Gaijin has a few tricks up their sleeves, but after playing Enlisted, I don't think they do. We'll see if they've learnt their lessons from yesteryear. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.